You don't need to know coding. You don't need to know how to use your keyboard. You could just talk to your computer and it will make a crazy web app.
Do you think
Mhm.
an app like that would be easy to make?
Yeah, probably. There'd be a few things you have to work out. It's like, where would it, pull things up at? Like, how is the user experience? Oh, that's always like the hardest part of making these apps is you have to go into them with like a super clear idea of the user experience. Like every step that they go through, you just kind of need to think that through beforehand. Because if you go into it without that, makes it a little bit more tough.
Well, yeah, my thoughts were it could just act in the background, kind of like how Otter AI pulls like transcript or anything like that. And then just like how Siri responds to a Hey Siri command, you could have that be your prompt and then be like, Hey Jamie, is this true? And then feed that into like Claude or ChatGPT, do a web
Mm,
search, spits it out using their vocal features, and then boom, you got your like automatic podcast co-host sitting there. And then you could even have premium features like, because I'm sure Jamie does more than just that. He does like audio monitoring and visual. You could have it
yeah.
do specific task in the background. I don't know. But with that, let's get this thing started. Hey, everyone. I'm really excited for this episode. Today, we've got my brother, Austin, on the podcast. Um, Today, we're going to talk about AI and vibe coding. It's something I think everyone in this industry should be studying or at least getting a baseline knowledge on because it is really transforming multiple industries, not just cannabis specific. And a lot of that carries over. So, myself, I've been really into AI really since it kind of like started 2023, maybe with ChatGPT. I remember we used it really heavily during drafting votes of no confidence to kick out the president of our university, and it successfully did so. Like, not only drafting the actual um, like votes and the documents and stuff, but it also gave really good insights and advice on how to professionally like go about it and like get faculty members on board. We were able to get into like faculty union meetings. We were first students on university to ever do that, and they were like this close to doing like, I don't know if like a step out or stand down is far, but like they were really like getting ready to stand up for us, and ChatGPT kind of led that charge. And since then, I've always just used it for like obviously social media copy and um, Excel like formulas is something I use it a lot. Um, Yourself, I know you're way more into AI than me. Do you want to kind of give the viewers a little background on you, and we can dive
Yeah,
into?
sure. So I mainly I come from an e-commerce background. I've been in it for a while, but through my e-com store, we teach people like coding and circuits and the nerdy stuff. So that's kind of always kept me at the forefront of the tech things that are going on. Over the last few years, my company taught over 300,000 people how to do coding and like C++ and Python and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now it's all pointless because I am very confident in the next any year now, AI is going to make its own coding language that humans just can't understand. It's going to be like dots and hieroglyphics, basically, but it's
Okay.
going to be hyper optimized for AI. That's just because right now AI is kind of constrained by this human element of coding. So, anyways, I think it's going to change coding. Right now, we're starting to see that happen. I think most software companies have lost their moat. A lot of times, they were like, it'd be really tough to compete with Canva or someone because they have this big moat and they've got this big software that you have to have a couple $1 million in devs to be able to create this protection around your brand. But now I'm very confident three dudes and a bunch of fucking Red Bull and some hunger can take on any of these like $1 billion companies.
Well, that's
And
good for people like us then, right? Or
it's
is
really,
that
yeah. I mean, anyone that is a creator, like anyone that just identifies as somebody that creates things and makes things, and that's where they get their enjoyment from. Like, this is the best time alive to be in that category. And going forward too, like I think economic structures are going to change, and it's going to be very in the hands of creators and companies are going to be small tribes. It won't be a flex to have 10,000 employees. I mean, obviously there would be some that need that, but
So like if it is that easy, then why don't the big companies just do it? Is there like
they do. They do.
okay.
Most of Google's coded by AI now. Most of like AIs, they just kind of improve by using AI to self improve
Right.
now. So yeah, I don't know the percentage, but Google very big percentage of that's coded by AI, and it's not perfect yet. But this is, I mean, best. It's obviously whenever today is in your world, it's the best it's ever been. So it's only getting better, and now it's like actually able to create things. And I've been trying to vibe code and working with AI coding for years now. I mean, we were like one of the first users of ChatGPT. We were, one of the first people doing image gen. All of it was so terrible back then that
I
I
still
really wish I
struggle with
had some of the stuff.
I still
But
struggle with image gen. I mean, I was using it the other day. I wonder if I do
I
still have
cook.
it.
I cook with it. Like if you go to boringcomputer.com, which is the software company I've been vibe coding, like
This is what I did the other day using Gemini, and it's a figure
yeah, that's
for a paper I'm
pretty
putting
good.
together. And I was like, I still can't really use it though, because it's not perfect. And even trying to like say, hey, fix the airflow path to be where it actually is instead of kind of coming into the
Mm,
glass mysteriously, then it just completely fucked the whole image and like the mouthpiece was upside
totally,
down. And so I was like, oh, you're so close. But it was like, at least
totally.
gave me ideas for I was able to take the actual photos and then just be like, these are common parts. And so it was nice
It
for,
hasn't even been 6 months since we've
right.
gotten text generation to actually show up on images. So I think we're still progressing. We're still super early because we just got image to do text well.
Yeah. And that was
That,
with the Nano Banana from Gemini, which isn't that one of the leading ones?
yeah, I'd say that's the best image gen right now. I use Midjourney because I like the creative platform.
Okay.
I've just been brand loyal to them for literally years now. So
I remember
um,
playing around with them a while ago, but I haven't in a long time. The whole image gen thing I found too difficult, or maybe it just wasn't ready yet. So I took a step
it's
back from that.
it does like creative images well. It's not going to do like strict lines. Like if I wanted to generate like a circuit board image, which I really want to get there someday, it won't be able to do strict rules. It's just really bad at following strict rules. So
One thing I found AI was good at though was app development. And you mentioned vibe coding. How do you kind of define vibe coding? Because I think everyone's got a different definition of vibe coding.
um it's very much like you just talk English and English is your new coding language. So that's just what I think vibe coding is to me is it's just creating any, you know, structure of code, Git repository, but just using English to get there. And
Why was
it's
it
a very
never
much an art form.
why was it never English from the start? Because I don't have any coding background, but you do as someone that like hacked school servers and shit like that. I don't know if
Yeah,
you want to share that story or not. We can always edit stuff out, but um so yeah, do you want to give like a little background on your coding and like what coding's evolved to get to where we are now?
I
Because I
started
can
when I
learn
was like
from that.
12, dude. I was like following YouTube tutorials on like how to make like Java calculators and stuff like that. So I mean that's when it started, but I was never like really the good one out of that friend group that was doing stuff. So I felt more like a cheerleader just being around these really smart people that were like hacking the school and doing crazy stuff like that. But it was crazy to be around them and see what they could do and pull it off. But like I from those years, like I have a really good understanding of like the basics of code, like what, loops and integer, like the basics, but I could never get past the basics. My mind just couldn't grasp it. So that's why I'm so good at vibe coding my opinions because like I understand the technical side, but from an English perspective is like what I like to call it. It's like, you need these databases, you need XYZ. Yeah, it's just it's crazy. No software company has mode anymore, and it's the builders' perfect time to be creating stuff.
Well, and that's what I found too is like I was able just to put in one prompt and it took my idea and then added the necessary coding requirements, like you mentioned, repositories or databases and stuff, and it thought about the stuff that I didn't know as a non-coder, and I can screen share kind of like what I started playing with. I've got a bunch of different app ideas, and then this was just one of them. Let me go to this. So I was like screen recording because I was gonna make a YouTube video out of this. I gotta find how to mute it. Um, and the whole idea was like I took one prompt, which was design me an app. Oh, let's go back. Stop that. Design an app for cannabis operators that will help them write SOPs that would follow appropriate laws and regulations. So
Mm.
state specific cannabis laws, GMP or CGMP, which is good manufacturing practice and current good manufacturing practice, and then like stuff like that. Once the SOPs are created, it'll give them the option to convert them to various forms of media, picture, video, long form, text, to cater to different employee learning preferences. Because everyone I found learns differently. You could be hands on, you could be a video or read a book, and then give the option to test employees on SOPs either during the onboarding process or periodically as a refresher, like continuing education. And it took that in pretty much, I think I had like 4 or 5 prompts total. I was able to get to this where we got this like dashboard, shows how many of your employees were trained, recent activity. And the whole thing was like, I wanted it to take current SOPs. Maybe it was like how to package a gram of concentrate, and then ensure that the way that they were doing it was following laws, and it would just
Hmm.
search the state's laws, or you could have it built in on the back end. Every state publishes those PDF files, so it's really easy to reference that. And then like that's where this regulatory document upload could be. They could maybe, if they have a local municipality that puts a like a fire code thing on extractions, they could add that specific municipality related thing there. Um, and then they could track like different audits on that and see, would we fail or pass state compliance? Does the employee uh, like do it correctly? And you could see through different tests if they're maintaining training. And then it would help you actually create it too. Cause like writing SOPs is like technical writing. It does kind of get, I wouldn't say like nuanced, but there is a way to do it. And not every company I've found, having worked for a handful of different ones, does it the right way, or they completely lack stuff. And a lot of times SOPs just end up in a folder or binder. They get given to the employee. That employee might read it or not when they get hired. And then they just kind of sit in the corner. This would kind of add a way to like make it actually easy for the employee by,
Hmm.
because if it's like, if they have the option to choose how they want to learn, they're going to pick their preferred learning style. They're not going to be as prone to just skipping it like reading a binder would if they're just thrown a binder of random SOPs. And we can see here, like I had played around with a couple different ones, but I was shocked at like how good this was from a couple different
Yeah.
prompts, like the SOP wizard there. Now there was issues like this 404 page not found, so it wasn't perfect,
Yeah. Like
but
to set everyone's expectations, it takes like 3 to 4 months of like heavy working on it to
okay.
like actually get something to send to market.
Yeah, this is like I got the idea from this Joe Rogan podcast, and that's like I think what I was going to make the episode on was like, hey, this is how easy it is to make an app. My idea came from something in this Joe Rogan episode. Here's the prompt, and then like I screen recorded 2 different recordings, so I showed you the other one. But this is like showing upcoming audits or how many employees were trained, the SOP wizard, and like this is just one app out of a bunch that I had ideas for. And I was thinking we could even vibe code one live on this episode. So With that said, I will stop sharing. And I'm wondering, like, when you go into the vibe coding process and you have a couple ideas, how do you go about picking the one that you want to work on? Is it like as simple as just this one excites me, or is there some technicalities in there?
Um, for the ones I take seriously, like, I mean, sure, there's the ones that I want for myself that I just build as like a cool tool that I'll use. I'll never make money with it. There's no expectation of making money. That there's those things, and those are super fun. That's kind of where I like learn a lot from. So those are really good to still do it anyways. If you like don't get too stuck on the idea. But ultimately, when you take it seriously, like you want a app that will bring in revenue, pay the bills, pay rent. If not, something you can exit. Um, and especially with these AI software companies, like if you get in the money loop of you being able to pay these tokens straight to like Anthropic, you buy their tokens and you upsell it to somebody else and they use your token, like Replit's doing right now. That's essentially the same
Hmm.
thing. They're just using a wrapper. They're billion-dollar companies and they have massive EBITDA like evaluation. So it's like in e-commerce, if I'm operating a company and say I'm going to sell it, I'll make like 2 to 3x my yearly profit of that company. So they'll buy it for like 2 to 3x that. Uh, but in the AI software, they're paying like 10x, but revenue. Like it's not even just the profit they're looking at; it's like 10x of your revenue every year. So it's like you're getting this massive paycheck compared to any other business that's doing the same amount of revenue. So that it's very enticing right now to get one that actually scales up. You realistically, like if you can sell something for $100 a month, that's kind of like my goal is going into it. It's like, can I charge $100 a month for this going into it? And yeah, hopefully you get an idea that you can do that. And if you get something like 4,000 users, you get a massive fucking exit, like a disgusting. You've retired your family and bloodline, and like you get a lot of money if you do it right, and you only need a few thousand users at that price point. So that's kind of what I go into it first and foremost. Like, will
Do
someone pay
you
$100?
consider like impact that the app might have versus the complexity of it? Because like when I think of, I've got like a book full of ideas and a bunch of notes in my phone, and like some of them are super complex, like taking the meta glasses and putting them on people that
Yeah,
are working in the flower rooms, and
yeah,
through that it could see the plant density, the canopy density, target the fan leaves to cut off for the optimal density, and something like that. Like the
put
hardware is
another
still
on. Yeah,
probably a way out, and there's a lot that
no,
goes
it
into
exists.
to
That
that.
that all exists, and you don't need the meta glasses. There's like a little one that you can actually like clip on that's
Okay.
got the camera on it. We teach people how to like program that in our academy that we sell.
Okay.
But so it all exists out there. It's just yeah, I would stray, especially if you're like a first time founder and scaling, like
Find the
go
low
with a
hanging
little bit of an
fruits.
easier idea. And, you know, even if you start generating like $5,000 a month from an app, that's still like you can still get like 500,000 selling that to like somebody. So like
So like the AI Jamie podcast co-host idea that we started talking about earlier, is that something that is like a low-hanging fruit, or is even that still pretty complex?
I think that'd be a cool one to build out. You would learn quite a bit along the way, building that out and seeing if, people buy it. I mean, ultimately, the big secret hack is if your app generates people revenue and they're making like 5 times the amount that, they're paying you, they're never going to unsub. And
Okay.
it's going to grow and it's going to be so much easier to sell too. Like I have that analytics company, and what we do is we're trying to be an operating system for e-commerce founders. Like if you're a solo founder, there's quite a bit on your plate between all your legal stuff to like shipping to tariffs. They're always like a million things are changing, where you have Nexus for sales stuff. Like, you're building funnels, you have a million numbers. So it's like pulling in all that data and then just helping them process it better and giving them alerts saying like, hey, you didn't see this part, but this is wrong, or you're losing money here. So I mean, that's just like a no brainer for like $100 once, if we get it working. It's easily going to make you $100. So an app idea like that, I think is, uh, but I mean, my other one that I'm working on, which is for the coding side of things, there's no revenue model baked in at all. Like there's no, it's still just like my e-commerce store. That's where the revenue is, and this is more just like a digital add-on to make their lives better. But I'm not. There's nothing I'm going to be like charging software wise in there.
So like the SOP app would kind of fall into that because it's not really directly giving them revenue. I mean, it's preventing mistakes, which is kind of in effect saving them some cost saving. But even then, it might be hard to quantify or justify that value. Maybe something like that Tinder crossed with Weed Maps apps. I don't know if I think I told you about that. It was a while ago. We were thinking about creating something like that where it's basically a swipe to shop model. And the problem with Weed Maps is it just pulls up all the dispensaries in a set location that pay to be on their platform.
Mm,
And you're really, you're never, I don't know. It's like I go into Weed Maps and I spend a half hour searching for the best deal at every shop. And I feel like it could be a lot more streamlined. Plus, there's this internal bias that a lot of people have in cannabis towards not just different brands, but also dispensaries. So, for example, if there's a dispensary that I don't necessarily like, or some bud tenders that maybe give bad recommendations, just I might not be apt to pull up their website or their weed maps and look at their menu. And I actually had this kind of light bulb moment where I did kind of give one of those dispensaries that I didn't have good experiences with another shot. And this was like a year or two later. And I was actually really shocked. Like, hey, this company came a long way. They fixed a lot of the stuff that was wrong, and they didn't do any social media marketing to let us know that. So um, I was like, whoa, there is a bias there, and I've been going X amount of time with like could have had a better deal or a better product. And so my thoughts were, if you had an app that was kind of like Tinder, where it's just swiping, it shows the product. Maybe um, there was a constraint on the app that forces the dispensary to re-upload product photos every couple weeks, because that's the other thing is you can go on Weed Maps or a company's website and they'll have one stock image photo if they even provide that for the product, and it can be completely different when you drive 20 minutes there and actually take a look at it. And there's a lot of misrepresentation, not on purpose, but just because, I mean, there is some time aspect built into it, but I think you can make it easy with like an in-app camera where a bud tender just goes down the line and takes a new photo of it. Like that would take 15, 20 minutes. It wouldn't be too hard. And that way you can get a true representation of the product. And then you just kind of swipe like, okay, this is something that interests me. Maybe you can filter by price point and how far you're willing to drive. Once you find maybe it's a really nice looking bud and you're like, okay, let me swipe up, get more info on it. And then it tells the location of where it's at, the like test results, and maybe there's like a popularity metric built in where it's like on app, this is being a hot product or whatever, so there's that built in, um, kind of like a social score. I think back to like the crypto trading when there was bots that would scan Twitter for positive or negative sentiment for
mm.
social sentiment scores. Maybe there's something like that built into it too. And I don't know, I just thought that would be a cool way for brands to market their products that's not just like a featured post on Weed
Yeah.
Maps or something like that. And
I mean, I would classify that one as definitely like one of the hard ideas for sure. The um I mean it would probably work if you hit scale and you got product market fit and most states were using it and you know somehow like part of the problem is you have to attract two people into your business that way. One, you have to attract both the business and then you have to attract the users. And then you're essentially just making an ad network. So like every time somebody would upload a picture of new inventory, you'd probably, you know, or you collect cash on the sale. Like maybe they buy rate on that app and then you would take 10%, 15% of every sale that
you
happens.
know,
I mean,
that's
at
the other
scale,
thing.
that would work really well. That'd be crazy if that
Yeah.
worked at scale.
And you could do
It's
online
hard to.
ordering. Yeah, online ordering would be easy to do. Now the only thing
Without a
is like
doubt, I would yeah, if you could fix that and then somehow do drone delivery as well as an upsell and just like,
it'd be so nice.
that shit would work so well if you're the
Well,
first drone delivery weed
so I
one.
actually I talked with my cannabis business and law professor about doing a Uber delivery or like kind of how the different food delivery apps popped up, but doing that for cannabis. And we wouldn't be able to do it in Michigan because the delivery driver has to be employed by the dispensary. So I was like, okay, that's a legal loophole that we're not going to be able to really get around. But it was an idea that
Why
was
couldn't
okay.
they hire drivers? Like, I mean, you think about the old
Well, they
pizza
do.
stores, you know?
Yeah, and that's what they do is like they'll just have a receptionist that is also a driver, and they'll do like I know the one dispensary by me that does delivery, they do like a noon delivery and a 6
Yeah,
p.m. delivery. So they have two
yeah,
times that they go out and you place your order, and
that makes sense. That's the
it's
way to
not
do it.
like I worked for this dispensary and we never really did that many. It was a handful per week, but I mean, it was maybe
It's the people with money that
one
yeah.
percent, and it wasn't
It's
even
like
well, yeah.
you probably charge a fair amount for the delivery where, like, a lot of people are like, "No, I'd rather just pick it up and grab an
Honestly,
extra."
I think it was only like a $5 delivery charge, but there was like a $150 minimum on the order, if I remember right. So
Okay.
it forced a high ticket order, but it wasn't commonly utilized. Like I think people like to go and take a look at the product. Deli style is really prevalent. So it's like they'll have a pound in a big sea vault jar and you can smell it and take a look at it. So I think that aspect plays a big role into it where you wouldn't necessarily have that with buying online. Like I've never done an online purchase to be honest. I always go in and I mean, I think I probably would utilize online because you find the brand you like, or if you're shopping
Yeah.
by price point like I am right now, it's just what's the cheapest shit. Um, so that was like one idea. And then another one that I had that we were going to try to couple in with that app, but it could be a separate one. Cause if you're saying it's already tough on its own, was I really wanted to find a way to exploit the live social shopping. Cause that's something Gary Vee's just been
Yeah, I
preaching
hear it.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know really how you would do it. My instantly like I go to glass companies, they could exploit that really easy by just showing different bonds and rigs and then filling it with water, showing the function, even maybe hitting it live. But for like a grower, I was even thinking like they could walk through their grow and be like, hey, does this flower look good? Well, it's going to be at this upcoming shop in a couple of months. You could have like sell pre orders if you know that it's going to be dropped at a shop and then have that shop basically do a pre-order, and that's like how I kind of connected it online. But that was something that I thought would be really cool because brand reputation is really big in cannabis, and brand loyalty is huge. And trust is hard to build in this industry, mainly because social media for the longest time has kind of blocked us out from being able to show product, but now a lot of restrictions has have eased up. But if you had an app maybe specifically for it that was different growers walking through the grow, extractors showing like, hey, we actually run a clean pharmaceutical model here. This isn't some like backyard basement operation going on. Um, like I don't know. I thought that would be a cool way to build brand trust, but also utilize common sales trends. It's hard though, because like in this industry, all the regulation and laws and track and trace makes it a little bit difficult, but I still think there's probably a way to do it. If not, just utilize live streaming in a nuanced way. But like Instagram already has that. So you would just go live on Insta at that point.
Yeah, I mean, what's something that, you know, I think, like, a little, like, operating system software for people it grows, and maybe, like, check on things, watch progress of things over time.
That is
Um,
the ERPs that exist in this industry are far and few in between. There's not many of them, and they're not really good. I mean, you almost have to buy 2 or 3 different ERPs if you have a grow in a lab to fully operate, sadly.
I wonder if it, like,
Trend
do with There's this app called Appify, and there's
Okay.
these new things called MCP servers. Are you familiar with all those?
No.
Uh, Appify is like you pay them and they'll do like live data scraping. So if there
Okay.
was some way to like use that in it, that's like a really crazy new tool that essentially what a lot of people do it for is they're scanning, for Twitter sentiment all the time or like
That's what I was
going to
just
Reddit.
thinking. For a grower, it would be really good data for them to have a social sentiment on the strains because people do grow based on the hot strain. And I know I've fallen into this trap where you buy the hype strain and the hype brand, the hottest on Instagram or YouTube at the time. So if a grower did have a way to say like, oh, this strain's been popping off on Twitter, we should look into growing it. That would almost be a really valuable tool to have, I think.
And then MCP servers are really cool as well. So we use the Cloud app on our desktop. And when we're going to do like a sales email or a promotion, or like we just did one that we just restocked an item that was sold out for a little bit. And all you do is you just prompt Claude right away and you're like, hey, can you make an email? And it goes and actually goes into that software for you, creates
Okay.
the email, creates everything set up, writes the whole email, makes it button, and it looks like a professional email that I used to pay $500,000 to get written. And it just generates it in one go. So like now there's all these, the softwares are all like kind of connecting and
Right.
be able to like work in each other. So like that's probably a big unlock for maybe some things in the industry, especially around like operations.
MCP, that's Model Context Protocol, right?
I think so. Something like
Okay.
that.
So it's basically AI agents.
Yeah,
Or how
yeah.
is that different?
How is agents different?
Yeah, because as far as I know, like you could have a Zapier workflow or a Claude agent do something like that.
Yeah, I feel like agents in the past for me always had like, I mean, yeah, they did somewhat talk and connect, but it just wasn't the same feeling of, it wasn't like agents kind of were set up for a very specific task, and that was the one task that they would complete. So in the past, I built ones that were like generate an AI video for me that's 2 minutes long, and it's just me playing around with it. I never got something to like production, but I type in the prompt I want, and then it would go and make this long form video by cutting up the scenes and putting everything together. So it's like agents to me follow like a very strict rule set. It's like my outcome is this 2 minute video every single time, but the MCP servers is more like a vibe approach to it all, where
Okay.
you're having conversations with it. It's very fluid. It can kind of do whatever. It's more like, it can do way more things. It's not like I'm doing this set task. So I think agents
Okay.
kind of got a wrong name at first because it was more like, yeah, it was the first like what agents would feel like, but it didn't really have the right name. I think agents in a few years would be looked at way differently.
How do you define agents now then?
I just think of it as more of a marketing word than anything at this point, because I don't
Okay.
feel like they've actually they haven't hit their potential by any means. I mean, obviously we're early. Like I don't know, they're not done yet, but
Okay. So like how hard would an app be then that does kind of do like a strange social sentiment guide and just kind of spits out the hottest strains of the month or the quarter?
so that'd be pretty easy. And you could do it in different formats and whatnot. But if you just want a web app, you would just you'd have to go to appify.com and then you pay for data scraping through that website. And then you would data scrape TikTok, you data scrape whatever social medias you want to be tracking it on, or maybe there's some popular publications or news sites that are worth listening to and spying on. You could have that poll too. Um, but yeah, it can pretty much scrape whatever, but you do pay for the scraping. So
Is it
no, it's APIFY.
okay?
So yeah, this is one of the more interesting things that just I've not tapped into really, but it has so much potential combined with all these other tools.
Okay. So they do have a free plan. It gives you $5 to spend in their store. Hmm, interesting. Do you know of like a different version of this that would be free? Like if I wanted to play around with that idea?
I don't think it's possible because the
Okay.
amount of compute power that they probably have to spend to
Gotcha.
do some of this, they're gonna have to charge something.
Okay.
I mean, at scale, they would just get rinsed if they didn't.
So if I wanted to make an app, do you think maybe just going with that SOP idea on Replit is the way to go?
I'd say that I would say zoom out a little bit. Like one thing about vibe mark or vibe coding and stuff like that, I'm always like thinking bigger. And yeah, it adds complexity and length to your development time and whatnot. But if it was more of like a full stack, like they're tracking plants in there, they're tracking their team and their payroll, they're
Okay.
tracking inventory, like how many seeds do I have and where, like how the nutrients that I have on my shelf, like how much does that cost? Like a full on, like if I could look at a dashboard and I see, all right, these like real quick, 1 second glance, one above full landing page, and you get all that core data of your KPIs that you need to see. And then even like cash and inventory or like potential outcome of, yield, based on progress. Like if you have this big operating system, I mean that you craft something at that point that's kind of like a no-brainer for some of these companies that don't have that and are relying on clipboards and shit like that. They're like, well, this would save me, X amount, or this would, guide me to make better
Okay.
decisions. And then once you have all that data, then you train AI on it, and then they have an AI agent that's extremely powerful for the business.
Okay. So it could be like a module within a bigger ecosystem, maybe. Because like
Yeah,
I've definitely thought about doing a ERP back when we had that higher thoughts or higher brands, geez, higher state brands company. One of the offshoots of the umbrella was higher tech. And we had a bunch of different app ideas that we were going to try to make. And obviously, this was like a 5, 10 year plan that kind of just fell apart over time. But one of those was an ERP because the top three ERPs that come to mind, there's Trim, which is like TRYM. There's Distro, and then what's the other one? I should pull this up real quick. And let me screen share. It's just good because it lets me learn Riverside too. So like Distro was one that we talked with them actually, and they're pretty cool guys that run this. So it could be something that I could always see like selling a module to them as well. Um, yeah, this is one. There's like that's what I was kind of saying. There's like two or three big industry leaders. This is one of them that do the inventory management, order fulfillment,
yeah. I think that's
procurement.
part two of like a good app idea is that somebody's doing it and like making a shit ton of money with it right now. Because if somebody's doing it successfully, like you can go in there and take their spot.
Yeah, this was one of them. They went out of business for a while. I don't know if they're actually back or not, but I had looked into them a while ago for the processing lab side of things because I liked how you could input like a lot of different data points to it to get like your cost per product and stuff like that, tracking like
Exactly.
the different inputs beyond just cannabis and terpenes. It was like vape cart and packaging. And then
It's
there's,
worth so much money for the founder to have a clear view of all their KPIs. That's it's just so rare to have that in business, and now it's like the easiest time ever to build a custom solution to
yeah,
solve that.
this is another one, Flourish. So like they do have the cultivation management and like a lot of these the track and trace systems, there's kind of two that the different state governments adopted. There's BioTrack and then Metric. Metric's the kind of more popular one, and that kind of makes it so that you have this RFID tag that you put on every single plant, and you can scan that with different scanners. There's some that do like batch scanning, so you don't have to do individual, which I liked, but you can get like different grams per plant, grams per light, grams per square foot, post harvesting. So this platform I thought was pretty good too. And some of them even do have like point of sale system if you have a full vertical company and have retail, but none of them seem to kind of do everything where like this would be really cool if it also connected to the different sensors in your grow and tracked, okay, if we have a difference in temp and humidity, does that how does that affect the end yield or the quality so you can really fine tune it. Um, I
And
don't
that
know.
wouldn't, I mean, you could charge for like, it'd be like probably $100 a plant in hardware, maybe a little bit more. But that'd be
Okay.
another big cash influx. Like if you get a big op to take on that, and then they need all the tech upgrades and all the whole system to it, they would. I
Well,
mean,
that's
they're spending a shit ton of money with you at that point.
right. Um,
Be really easy for them to be 100K, 200K.
there's a couple of the, I
You
don't know
could
why my
you would
Google's
do a
been at,
custom one, so you would build your own, honestly, and you would
right.
have really good margins. But you'd put an ESP like 8 tube 6X or like just a little ESP board. They're literally like $3, and then you can have a camera attached to it, and then it just connects to your Wi-Fi. And then
Okay.
you'd make I don't know how the solution, because I don't know if you had a camera, like where are you looking at with the camera, where does that sit in it all? Because it wouldn't, it's either you're too close or you're too far away, and the plants are too close to each other. So it's like, how do you know the separation
Yep.
of the leaves are going over? So
Well, that's where I was
there's
like,
some
a
complexity.
LiDAR sensor would be really nice. And you just put it on the post every 4 feet that holds your trellis net. And then it shines down, makes almost like a 3D model of
Yeah.
the canopy. And then you just have different photon sensors in there reading the ppfd from the lights, so how much like photons per square foot. And then like photons are just different particles of light, and you can measure if you're getting more of those, you have a stronger light. um, and obviously going too strong can be detrimental too, but this was like one thing that we looked at using, because they have a whole suite of sensors and different data that you can collect. So that's like the app would almost be nice. I mean, yeah, it would be great to integrate with these, but every grow has a different sensor setup and uses different ones. This was I just remembered it now. Trollmaster is a,
I think your screen's frozen on my end.
okay. Oh, I see. It was like sharing the wrong one. This one. So like this sensor system we were going to use, the agrotech we were going to use just for mixing the nutrients, but this one has some really cool shit, um, that I could connect to a bunch of different sensors, temperature, humidity.
So is that per plant?
Yeah, so like you can have, there's like this 4-in-1 sensor you would have just every like 30 square feet. You would have a lighting sensor on, like these control your lights, and you can link them all together. So you can control like the spectrum, color. If you have LEDs, you can control the brightness. So like you can program in a dusk and dawn effect if you want to try to wake the plants up like natural sunlight, and have it kind of fade in or fade on in the morning, and then kind of fade off as it gets into night. You could have it increase the red spectrum as it gets closer to night to kind of like shut the plants down. Or I know a lot of people use far red spectrum to wake the plants up. The humidity and temp would be like probably per room or per zone. They do have like cameras, and I'm pretty sure there's AI detection built into that as well. Um, they've got for CO2 supplementation, we were going to use their CO2 sensors. Some of these do have like, I forget which one it was, but I think it's their irrigation system has per plant, you can put a different like water sensor. There it is, look, different water sensors. But it'd be cool if all this could be automatically inputted into the app. But I think because so many growers use different systems or nothing at all, you almost have to have it like user inputted, uh, for your data.
Yeah, or you'd have to go out there, fly out there, and set it up for them. Charge them a $5,000 fee of setup or something like that. Make it worth your time of flying out and putting it all together. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I'm sure you could spend to get a lot of that stuff, like the moisture detection and that kind of stuff. It would only be like 15, $25 per plant for like humidity, like all the sensors except for the camera. If you
Okay.
wanted a camera, that would be a little bit more.
Here's one. I'll share the screen that I actually really like. And I've talked to the guy that runs this because he wanted feedback on it. And it's in the extraction lab. So they've taken basically a sensor. I've got their white paper. Maybe that would be better to pull up. And you can put this pressure sensor on your extraction rig. And it's like got a flow sensor too built into it. You can see like this is really not a good website to be honest for kind of showing their stuff, but like different run times, temperature, solvent volume, limits, and operator difference. You get very different yield from run to run, and that's something I've noticed in the extraction lab is you could have pulling from the same batch of flour, one yield will run like 11% yield, one might give you 13% yield. And you might try to do everything the same, but there's always going to be differences in temperature and pressure and how
Yeah.
much solvent actually flows through. So these guys set up, so it's 12 grand, and it actually looked like it would be pretty good. Let me get out of here see if I can find their white paper. If not, that might be something that would be interesting to vibe code because I know a lot on the processing side more than the grow.
Yeah, anything that you're like tracking operations for, if they're charging 12,000 for it and making sales, you could usually charge $100 a month for a company to optimize. If they get 33% more yield, that's worth $100 a month, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things, you know?
So here's
It's
their
like a no-brainer. It's like, why would I wanna turn that off? That's, making me money every month.
right. Here's their kind of white paper. And I like
How many companies are doing this
this is
process?
so this is the only one that I know on the extraction side, besides those like couple ERPs that I sent you, but they're not really pulling data live from the rig. It's more just input by the user.
Well, how
But
many
like
people are doing extractions? I mean, like, how many extraction
just
companies?
just this company, as far as I know. And you have maybe 5 or 6 companies that are actually creating these extraction rigs. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but they're really small, because they do have to have, like, certain certifications that to show that they're, like, safe and they can withstand the pressure. So it goes through a UL, certification, and some states require, like, a actual peer review, I forget the actual name of it, but you have to have like a certain company basically sign off on it saying that it's safe. But what they did is they take this sensor right here, this IoT sensor, between the material column, that's where you put your bud, and the CRC column stands for color remediation chromatography. It's basically like sand, and it's a filter to pull out any kind of pigments and shit you don't want. Most people use this, but not everyone does. So it effectively is just they've got a sensor, and that's why they have two here to show if the CRC is doing anything. And that's why it says optional up here. But they're putting a sensor between the biomass and then your collection tank, which has basically the extract and a bunch of solvent in it. And then from there, the solvent gets kind of distilled off, kind of boiled off is the best way to put it, and returns back to the solvent tank. And it looks like they don't have a sensor in line
Mhm.
there, but they do have a sensor at the bottom of the collection tank, and that's where you would drain your extract off, and then it gets finished in a vacuum oven. So they take the data from that, and it's a near infrared spectroscopy sensor. So they're using IR to do this. One of the tricky things is one of the requirements to be a true C1D1 rated lab, which is class one, division one, is you have to have specially certified, like basically explosion proof
Yeah.
electronics in there. So like my phone can't go in there. I called my insulin pump manufacturer and they were like, we've never actually been asked this, but we have like special forces people use this. So you're probably good. And then they called back the next day, their engineering team, and they talked with them. They're like, yeah, it's technically not C1D1 rated, but it's not going to explode because it's uh, built like inherently safe. It's like, well, technically, I have to unclip my insulin pump if I want to maintain C1D1 rating because it's not operated. But they do make like C1D1 rated outlets and cameras. It's 100x the normal price. Like you'll pay probably 150, 250 bucks for a wall outlet compared to $5. But the nice thing about this is their sensors aren't, they don't classify or like fall into the electronics that need C1D1 rating. So like they can just put the sensor in line and then have it connected to a computer that's like on a 20-foot Ethernet cord outside the booth. Um, and so like I really thought that that was cool that how they manage that issue, because if you add a sensor in there that's not C1D1 rated, you're really putting the lab at legal risk, and uh, it's super expensive to get that C1D1 rating. But what they did is, so like you can see here, this is showing the THC throughout the run through one of the sensors, and a lot of people, they'll have different amount of times that they soak that material in their solvent for before draining it. And this is probably showing that um, that as it goes on, you have less THC in that material column, and that makes sense because your solvent's dissolving and taking it to the collection tank. They got a predictive model for performance. So comparison of extract predicted versus the actual reference, and that just showed that validation that the IR sensor worked. Um, Here's showing quantifying inefficiencies. So a loss of $176 per run. Looks like over the year, that's a good amount of money they were throwing out. And yeah, it's like that's what they're doing. And I thought that's a really interesting way. But you could even almost have a app that doesn't use this sensor. Like if I wanted to whip up an app real quick and replit and just have it, the extraction technician inputs different variables on like a tablet that's outside the booth. And
Mhm.
it's like, how long did you soak it for? Okay, it's 5-10 minutes. What was your temperature? -70 Celsius. What pressure did you maintain? Okay. And then they can input that, and you can update it when you get your final yield 2 or 3 days later after the solvent's been removed, and then track almost changes. Like if you change that,
Yeah.
is it a positive change or negative change? So that was something I always liked doing, was building out Excel sheets, basically tracking that same thing. And I'd always try to find what variable made a positive impact, but I could never really, without having the statistic knowledge, like AI is so good at stats and knows how to
Yeah.
run different
Large
statistical
numbers. Yeah.
models.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I'm not a statistician. I don't know that shit. So I think that might even be a cool app to play around with real quick.
You could even just build like a website for this podcast, like some setup just to
Okay.
just I don't know, and you could have a instead of a drinking game, like a little smoking game that you add to it that would be interesting. I
Oh,
don't know,
we
that
could.
some of the users could just go and check out, um, but then that just takes all the pressure out of rules and stuff, and you could just kinda have fun just coming up with a website, and just putting what you like on it, not worrying about conversion rates and value to companies and
Well,
EBITDA.
that's kind of what I was thinking, was like these first couple apps, whether it was the
Just have
SOP
fun, yeah.
app. Yeah, I was gonna just put it on my personal website, that alexeckman.com that I have, is almost like a resume builder, and just showing like, okay, here is my capabilities with vibe coding. If you want to hire me, this is a trait that I have, or something that could help benefit. And then you just also give that out as a free tool to anyone that needs it. So I was always going to have like different Excel templates for extraction labs and different tools, we'll say, quote unquote, that people could use. And that's like the SOP app would fall under that. Maybe the extraction analytics
Well,
app would fall under that.
let's just send it. Let's just build something random and not stress about it, and uh just let creative juices flow. Do you want me to do it, or do you want it?
Yeah,
Probably.
sure. If you want, go ahead, pull up a screen share and let's just see what happens.
And then after this call, I'll just send you the app, and then you would download
Play
it
with
to
it from
yours.
there. Okay.
Okay.
So
So let me share and then confirm I'm sharing screen.
yep, I can see it.
So usually I'll start here. Let me get Whisper on. Testing. Let's see. Perfect. So I'm just gonna make something fun for the channel, basically.
Okay, cool.
What do you want it? You want it higher thoughts? Higher thoughts podcast? What, like, just
Yeah.
full
Higher
name like
Thoughts
that?
podcast. I looked into it and a bunch of other people have it. So I don't know if that's like a copyright issue, but I wasn't creative when I came up with it. I just picked the first thing that came to mind.
I don't think they're legally allowed to copyright the word higher thought. I don't know. I just feel
That's
like that's
true.
general use.
Yeah,
Uh,
I guess you're right.
Even me, like, doing crafting table when fucking Minecraft owns all of the SEO for that.
I'm sure. I'm dropping my wax.
Okay, so there's this app I also use called Whisper Flow. Are you familiar with that?
No, I've never heard of that one.
It basically just takes my voice and then puts it to text. It really
Okay.
increases the amount of words that you type per minute. So I'm just gonna talk to the mic here, and then we're gonna
Doesn't
insert it.
Replit have a built-in like talk to text or no?
I think most of them do. I just really like this
Gotcha.
layout for it. Okay, create me application. We're doing a web app for Higher Thoughts Studio. It's a podcast. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it look like a retro 90s Windows computer. So it's going to have the start bar at the bottom. And then we're going to want the branding to look a lot like an old retro. We're kind of hitting that nostalgia. And then come up with a mock-up for that. For the apps on the desktop suite, we're going to do stuff like the latest podcast. We're going to have a little mini game spot for people to play little games on the app. And yeah, just involve the culture and let me know your thoughts. We don't need login. This is guest accounts only. No accounts yet, but we will have an admin panel. So scope that out. And I'll do this. So I just rant to it. I'll usually go way longer than that, or I'll just like keep ranting and I'll say stuff over and
Oh,
over
dude.
again. Or
I've had like 10, 15-minute prompts with Claude.
yeah. Okay, so I'll just send that in. Okay, so at first there's this right here on the left, which is the agent. This is the main Replit agent. This one's the smart one, but it's expensive. Like I've spent $2,000 or so before I ended up learning the trick to be able to not pay them so much money. So all in all, I said this earlier, but I don't know if it was in the episode. It's going to cost around $25, $30 a month for Replit, somewhere in that range. And you're going to have to pay for usage. So at least that $30 a month is all credits that you can spend to generate things, but use it sparsely. And then most of the time you'll want to click this fast on because it reduces your usage by like 90%. And it does a pretty good job still. So we'll let this go. It's going to go for a bit and then we'll hop in. But the other thing I want to set up, which we can probably set up now, is tools and files at the top. And if we go to shell, this is how we're going to like not necessarily hack it, but instead of them charging us to use their version of the same fucking LLM, we're just going to skip past them.
Yeah, I found using Claude worked really well to get my initial prompts out when I was doing that. The agent, or actually a while back, we made like Figma files for that Tinder Weed Maps app idea. And I think we used ChatGPT for that, but it worked really well.
Yeah, that's typically the other way too, but I really trust you don't necessarily need crazy good prompts anymore. Some people do. Some people are just so bad at it and they don't. But really what we're doing here is we're getting a piece of clay, and it's gonna look like fucking a big turd on the table at first, and then you just keep molding it, and you know, it takes 2 to 3 months to get a working app out to the market, and even then, there's still some debate, like, you know, if you didn't do any security audits and you didn't think of that going into it, you're probably gonna get fucked. There's just a lot of things that could go wrong if you don't kinda know the technical stuff, so
Gotcha.
all in all, so what we do is we go here, Claude Code. So now I'm going to be running Claude Code directly through this shell rather than paying them for the upcharge. And
Okay.
setup's pretty easy. You just go dark mode, cloud account with subscription is what I'm going to use. This, it does a pop-up window. The pop-up actually doesn't work. You have to like manually copy this, paste it, code to paste in. Apparently not.
So out of the different vibe coding platforms, is Replit your favorite? Because I've also played around with Lovable, and I know there's another one I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
There's Bolt, Lovable, Base
Oh,
44,
yeah.
Cursor. If I wasn't, so there's like levels of technical. If you're really good at coding, don't use Replit, just go straight to Cursor. Or there's something called Warp as well that you're just looking at a bunch of these Claude agents that are running. Mm, And then at that point, you're just doing like crazy Ralph loops and shit like that, anyways. And you're fucking sci-fi. You have an orchestra of 40 agents coding at once. That's like
Yeah.
level 10 right now. And there's people out there doing that. There's something called a Ralph loop. And it's basically an agent that can work for like 20, 30 hours of just coding, and it sets up an orchestra of agents under it that are all coding, and it
Wow.
sets up the whole team. So you can basically like reverse engineer any software, put it into like policies, and then you take those policies and recode it. So it's like you're not stealing any of their source code, but you've essentially cloned their project. Um, so that's level 10 right now. We're not there. So I'm in Replit. uh, it's my favorite. So this is how you know it works. And then what I'll do is I'll just take this, move this over, and now we're seeing the first preview of the app. Welcome to Higher Thoughts Studio. The text here is a little bit small. I hope it comes up on the screen share. But just like that, in one prompt, it's already made this, and it looks like the
Nice.
Rollorama carpet.
Yep, it does.
All right, so and now I'm pretty sure it's just basically a wireframe. It's just like, is this what you wanted? Is asking us. I don't want to open the agent again. So this agent, every time I would do that, it would charge me like $1.50 every prompt. But this
Damn.
is free because I already paid the $200 a month. Um, so what do we want?
You almost have it be like, what's your high thought? And then that almost could be like saved for a Q&A episode, or gives me ideas for what people are questioning. It's almost like a submit your question form. I don't know.
Totally. No, yeah, we could have it. We could set all that stuff up too. Um, that'll probably have to be after. So at this point, we have this out here, but none of this stuff works. So we want to give this all functionality, and I can't really see these. So I'm already seeing the problem. So I'm going to talk to it again. So get the start button functionality to work. I want to be able to click it and see a basic start menu with the stuff that you would see from Windows. And then also the desktop icons are extremely hard to see on this background. It blends in overly well. So please fix that. And then also add functionality to the bottom right. Think this through on all of the stuff needed. Uh, yeah, I'm just going to send that, even though it's kind of a shittier one, just to get it going. And then if you hit Shift Tab, this is how you switch between the modes. So there's plan mode, there is accept edits on. I usually like to stick in plan mode at first because it's going to like tell me like, here's what you're going to get. And I get to talk to it for a bit before it starts doing any coding.
Okay.
So I'm going to have that cranking. So yeah, this is it basically just asking like doing commands. So I'm going to let it start doing stuff. What I also like to do is you can open like 6 of these Claude shells and have like a ton of coding going on at once in different areas. You want to keep them separate, but once it starts picking up, we'll be able to switch to that. Yeah, some of these prompts can take some time. It's really good to map out like what you would need. So you would need like an admin side of things. So if you go /admin, you've got all of your personal controls. Think of it. You used like WordPress before, had like a WordPress site or
Once, yeah, I played around with it, but didn't do too much.
yeah, I like it to clone the back end of a WordPress site because basically what you can do at that point is you can have an entire suite in there that's like a command center for your personal brand, and you can have agents in there as well. So you could have one that automatically creates, thumbnails for you based off of your latest
Okay.
episode or like split testing stuff. Um, I mean, I use it to host all my media and stuff like that. So if you want like a big backup storage of all your videos, you can even have it living there.
Does video size play a factor? Because I know a lot of these are like 10, 15 gigabytes per video.
I don't think you have to pay for storage. So it depends on where you store stuff. You could even just link your Google Drive, and your
Okay.
Google Drive could live visually in your admin panel, and you'd be able
Gotcha.
to access everything. And that's probably the cheapest way to get the storage.
Yep.
But yeah, let's think of this might take some time. So what I can do here is I just go new shell and I type in Claude, and now we got another agent ready to start coding. That's the other great thing about this is the other version that you're paying them a ton of money to use. There's only like one thread at a time you can kind of have it working in. This one is unlimited. So
That's nice. You can have a bunch of different agents doing stuff.
yeah, so I can say, hey, under games, can we make a few games where I click the games app icon and then I see a window pop up and it's filled with an arcade that currently has 4 games in it, all kind of funny weed OG themed, but still N64 kind of style retro. And then Snake, of course. I want Snake in there.
Should have Snake be a joint that gets bigger and bigger.
See, yeah, that's like the next step is you would essentially go to whatever image gen is your favorite, and then you'd make these little app icons. So
Okay.
you would need like a joint icon. You would need all the images, and that's when you start getting creative with Nano Banana, and then getting the stuff you want using Canva or
Okay.
whatever to edit it, and then uploading it straight to this. And then this will
Gotcha.
start using those assets, and it won't feel like an AI coded website at all once you have all those assets. And then I'm just gonna have one for now, just like clean up I don't want this wallpaper. Just for the dev purposes, it's a little chaotic. I'll just say, hey, oh, make the background wallpaper just black for now. So yeah, basically this entire point, you don't need to know coding. You don't even know how you don't need to know how to use your keyboard. You could just talk to your computer and it will make a crazy web app.
I'm gonna send you like, because I don't know the best way to do this, but a picture of. I just found a quick little pixelated joint that could work for Snake.
Okay. Let me
And then from there, I bet if I pull my iPhone up, I bet I can even remove the background.
I can pull up Nano Banana. So it wouldn't be able to be the snake because the snake's got to change in size. I think that would be really tough for the image to do that. But
It did a good job at actually removing the background.
I'm in my other tab. What's it doing right now? So I wanted to start creating. So yeah, you kind of have to hop between these and make sure they're all going at once. But at this point, we're just full on. I mean, look at all the code that's being written.
Yeah.
I'm really not being super sophisticated about my prompts. I'm just kind of ranting to it. The
How
longer
long do
you
you
can
think?
rant, the more emotion you can put into it, the better.
How long do you think that would have normally taken you to like code without AI and write all that?
I mean, I personally, I couldn't have done it at this point. Like, I wouldn't have gotten this far.
I wonder
It's
what
like,
online cannabis games exist. I mean, there's like these reminds me of like
yeah,
Farmville.
I would just do yeah, I would just do rip-offs of, like, the popular games or, like, the Newground games from back in the day. Like, think of what you played at, elementary school and just mimic those
Be
just to get
cool to
something quick. A little Farmville would be kinda cool or, like, a shopkeeper game.
Minecraft where it's like build your grow with different blocks.
So, yeah, see it made the background black and
Mario Kart, you're running away from the cops. Oh, Need for Speed.
yeah, there you go. GTA 6, just release it before they do.
Yeah, really.
So, now we have a start menu that's starting to populate.
It's cool.
Just made that. Gave me my freaking background back, which I don't know why. Move system admin from the front end. So we don't want them to like see stuff like the admin panel, and like no one needs to see that. To get to the admin panel, you should just go /admin and then have a login there. And then so I'll get started on that right now. So go Claude. Create an admin panel for us to manage this website. There will be one operator managing this entire website and the brand and all the front end. Give them full control of everything, users table, all of that. Create a /admin page that is a login page that looks like an old RuneScape login. And do not generate an admin yet. Just start building out the entire backend. The backend will look like a WordPress engine backend. Look at their source code before proceeding and do a products requirement document of the admin suite before proceeding. And we will be keeping all of our operations there. And we want stuff like analytics, stats, growth. We want to see all the tools that we can have to help grow and expand the channel. So at some point too, yeah, there's so much stuff you can build out in an admin panel that just makes operating
Okay.
your business so much easier and seeing your numbers, your growth, the stuff that's working for the channel, or even like an AI that's trained on all your whole channel is like so valuable to you.
Yeah, definitely.
So what it's going to do with these longer prompts like this, especially when I'm asking it to do a products requirement document and this big feature, is it's going to start. They just updated it a few days ago where it's going to start doing this big task list. So it's going to make a big list of like 30 objectives, and then it's going to probably take like 20 minutes, and it's going to start nailing out those objectives one by one, but it's going to always keep
Yeah,
the whole scope in mind. So it's really good at doing these long feature prompts now too.
that's cool. Trying to think of different games. I'm gonna pop up Claude real quick.
Something clear. And then I don't like to have too many of these going at once. So once they're done, I do /clear. It clears the chat and it prepares that spot to be used again.
Okay.
And then I'll probably need we'll need some way to get you an admin account without exposing the credentials.
Yeah. And we don't
All
have
right,
to really make it like finished today or even usable. I was just excited to kind of show people what you can do with these different AI apps and like the capabilities, how easy it is to make an app, and like the process of doing so. So even if we just get up to the point where
we
like
play it,
it
yeah.
looks, yeah, playable and like shows like what it can do, I think even that's good.
Yeah, for some reason it keeps adding these back in, but um let's see. Open agent.
You know,
Okay.
you saw him out?
Yeah.
Nice.
See you, Dad.
Hey there. There you are. And that's where.
I'm showing them how to do replit
Cool.
vibe coding. Okay, so I think that this is why it's extra buggy is because it's still in design mode. So I'll just go ahead and click this and convert it to a full on app. And I think that's gonna stop some of the weird bugs of things coming back in. I can also send you I get like these passes for Claude, so you can get like a week of the max
Okay.
plan if you wanna
Yeah, definitely. I'm playing with Claude right now, and I usually like Claude a lot because ChatGPT, I don't know, it's been hit or miss lately.
Yeah,
But it seems like Claude has been overly disagreeable, which I know that a lot of people have been talking about AI is like, oh, it'll just kind of agree with what you want and amplify that thought,
yeah.
or you have people doing kind of not wise decisions based off of just, oh, that's a good idea. And so they're trying to put some disagreeableness in it. But like in the time that you've gotten this far with the app, like I'm still trying to get Claude just to spit out a basic list of apps that would be good to clone. And it had to get to the point where I was like, I'm on the podcast live now. Just fuck all this. I can't answer your 20 questions. Give me a list. And it just said like a snake could be a giant snake or growing plant that you collect buds and it gets longer. Um, Tetris could be like different nug shapes or joints falling. Minesweeper. Yeah, that one's stupid. Pac-Man, but the little dots are nugs. On paddles are bonds. The ball is smoke vapor. Okay, I don't know why you would do that, but I guess. Whack-a-mole, popping buds to harvest before time runs out. And you got to kind of cut the buds off instead of hit them with a hammer.
Right now, it's just got tic-tac-toe apparently.
Nice.
But it says it's Minesweeper, but then the game is tic-tac-toe. So very interesting.
That's like kind of what I experienced with that app that I'd showed you with the SOPs, where it was like, okay, it's got the right direction, but here's a 404 error, or it was like really close, and it just seems like you just have to kind of prompt the bugs out as you find them.
But yeah, like I said, it's gonna be like a big piece of shit at first, then you just kind of sculpt it, get it to where you want it.
Load up another dab. Let's see. This one looks good. I was going to drop the brand and strain, but they're not sponsoring this podcast. If you are a cannabis company in Michigan and you would like to sponsor, reach out. Little shameless plug there. I had to do that.
Get that bread.
Get back in podcast mode. Dude, no one's fucking hiring right now. So my job is literally full-time content creator. I applied at a fucking gas station and they didn't even take it.
Yeah, I remember trying to when I was getting McDonald's in college.
Fuck,
They weren't even hiring me.
It's ass.
Yeah, see, this is where it started, like the huge list, and it's getting really good at this. Like before, you couldn't do big prompts, but now it's starting to
Yeah, I
figure
was
that
kind of
out.
watching it go. It was interesting.
I got my nicotine gum. I got a Celsius.
Nice.
I'm ready.
So what are you asking it to do now?
So in the game store, I have the game store popped up, and then I don't like that it's not a full screen app because and there's so much like lost real estate here that it just hasn't figured out the design for yet. So I'm just gonna say make it cleaner and more modern and full screen. So while it's working on that, I can start up another one. And then I want this one to be a media player. So I want it so you can click it and then pulls open the YouTube channel in an interesting, different UI than YouTube would look. And it would feel like LimeWire back in the day, and you like got this
That'd be
video
dope.
and it's all right. We'll just see if it can do that. I don't know if it'll be able to like live pull, like make a feed out of it. I don't know. Create a media player application and put it on the desktop, and this will be a feed of a YouTube channel. I'll give you the URL for the YouTube channel and import all of the videos and make it so you can have a player inside of this application that would start playing the videos and we want to be exclusive to just this channel, so don't have features that go outside of this channel. So I'll have it start working on that. And then this is, I mean, it has to be a little bit more modern, but this almost looks too new modern. We'll see. We'll come back to this in a second. What would be like a cool thing for viewers to be able to use at some point? That's just what I'm thinking, like a landing page for viewers that they come here and they can kind of be in the world of your brand. You can like create these worlds so much easier now with AI. So for them to just be able to like walk in and feel like they're part of the world and the tribe and the community, and they found this like niche,
Yeah,
cool spot on the internet.
that'd be cool.
It wants the link to the channel.
Let me pull it real quick.
Do you have that ready?
Yeah, I can. Just the podcast or the full channel?
Well, if we had a media player on this website, what videos would you want them?
It'd probably be easier just to share you a playlist link would be my guess, and
Okay.
like the Higher Thoughts playlist.
Okay.
Share the full.
Dude, my
Actually,
allergies are going crazy.
yeah. Well, let me just share the full podcast playlist. So I'll just share the channel link, I guess.
Yep.
I texted it to you.
Okay, we're gonna input that. It's interesting. Got an error that it can't fetch from YouTube, but it should be able to fetch from YouTube.
Is that because there's the featured like I saw the link said dash featured. So I was wondering if doing a playlist would be better, but it seemed to.
We'll just see what it comes up with. It'll tell us. And then yeah, the hard part's you always have to like keep them going. It's easy when you have like I have a huge monitor set up here and I got a TV right above my monitors. So like on the TV above, I'll just have like a ton of agents and all like you know slices of them. So I'll be able to see them all working at once. Like have 5 of them going, 6 of them
Nice.
going, and it's so much easier to manage it because once one stops, you can get that thread running as quick as possible.
Well,
But
it's nice too because if you have an error pop up, you can always just pop into Claude or ChatGPT and be like, "Hey, this is what I'm seeing." Screenshot, fucking send that over. Tell me how to fix this.
you don't do any of that. So it all lives in here. It's using Claude to do all the programming, Claude code. So you're already getting that. You're getting the best coding agent possible already built into this thing. It's
So you
miles
just
better
ask
than
it in here then.
yeah, you would just tell it in here, be like, hey, this isn't working. And that way it sees the code too. Like there's this disconnect. In order to like use those other services and platforms, you have to get GitHub. You would send this code to GitHub and you'd constantly leave it saved in GitHub. And you really want to do that if you have like a professional setup. So it's always backed up somewhere. And
Okay.
because things go wrong, like this thing takes wrong turns all the time. And you're saying it's like not agreeing. Like yesterday, I was like kind of not shit talking, but I was like unhappy with a feature it came up with, and it just deleted the entire side of the app that feature was
Oh,
on because
jeez.
it was like fine, you hate it, I get it, and I'll just delete it anyway since you hate it. It literally said that, and I was like, whoa, bro, chill.
Yeah, I've definitely had some arguments with AI.
Fucking clankers. All right. Dude, I'm really stoked for real soon. We're gonna have you remember BattleBots? So like I feel like we're gonna have FPV little tiny BattleBots. They'll have like little sword. They'll be like 6 inches tall or maybe like a foot tall, but you'll be able to put on these VR goggles and like an Xbox controller. And then I feel like we're gonna have like little wars. Like I want like this big TV show and have like these little
Pretty cool.
tiny fucking robots and they
3D
fight it
printer.
out. I think that'd be so sick.
I was just seeing a video came up on my algorithm for some reason of a new filament that is like a polymer with 10% carbon in it.
Yeah, the
And
carbon ones.
it fucking the dude was clanking on it. It sounds just like metal.
You're gonna make some cool firearms with that.
Well, and it only needed like 350-degree nozzle temp in a heated enclosure. And you can nowadays, because I've been like, I really want to make like a creator studio setup, and I wanted to get a cheap 3D printer again since I sold the three that I had. And like you can get what I used to pay like 2 to 3 grand for is like $600.
Yep.
Creality has some crazy stuff with like their $500 to $600 3D printers, and they even have like two AI cameras in there that have like bed detection, and it can like auto adjust your first layer based on if it's like seeing nozzle lines or not, like beyond just having the probe to do auto bed leveling, like really leveled it up.
Well, if you come stay here, you can use mine. It's got all that, I think.
But
It's the same
yeah, I want to
model.
get down there for, we got to plan a vacation. I just got to work with Emma to find out with her work schedule.
What did this one do? This was the Game Store remake that we had it. Again, not full screen. Make it full screen. Add that functionality to all the apps. Open. I'm opening as a window. Full screen apps. So yeah, this one's gonna take a while. But I mean, it's just so cool to see it being able to like do this where it does a big check. This is basically a Ralph loop, is what we're seeing here.
What's that for people that don't know coding like myself?
It's essentially like doing like you see how like a lot of these prompts are like 2-3 minutes long. Um, the Ralph looping just adds a checklist and like a loop to it, so it can go for this one's 8-9 minutes so far, and it's only on 2 of like 13, 15 that's got to go through. So
Okay.
this enables it to really, it's got a checklist. It's got like all these different things it's got to build out. So it's quite a bit of code, and it can write a shit ton of code. And you could basically just go to bed and wake up to reviewing code that was just
Nice.
working all night, building out a big feature set for your app or whatever, a huge analytics side or like an affiliate dashboard. You could build that entire affiliate thing overnight, and then you wake up and you would just do code reviews in the morning.
That's dope. Yeah, I want to play around. I was thinking like just having a couple tools built out as like AI apps tools, offering them for free, that builds personal brand equity out there, helps find a job, stuff like that.
Yeah, the job market will be really interesting. I think it's going to be tough to have jobs in the future. Because like once you have a robot factory that builds robots, and it like, or like you have this big spaceship, right? You launch it into space, and it's a robot factory. It's got all these crazy 3D printers. It's all managed by an AI robot, and then the AI robots go out and they go to the Milky Way, asteroid belt or whatever. They grab all the resources they need to go make more, and now it's just like infinitely spawning robots at no cost, and it's just using like solar panels. It maintains itself, rates and improves itself. Once you get there, which I really like, it sounds super sci-fi, but like we're maybe 10 years away from that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if
Well,
SpaceX IPOs at 1.5 trillion, they're going to have the resources to do that.
you could have a Tesla bot replace anyone in a cultivation facility, and like a lot of things in the extraction lab can be completely automated.
Yeah. So hopefully like the cost of living goes down to like nothing, because everything's could be made for free essentially, because this robot swarm would not require any cost because it would have its own material
Well, it would
creation.
have to, and you'd have to sell it for free, because the problem with like automate everything, if you get rid of all the jobs, nobody has spendable money. So then no one's able to buy your product. So at some certain point, you have to either provide like an income through a job or through some government subsidy. I don't know. That's
Which
like
is scary, but this
where
is the first time
exactly,
ever I've been
that's where
seeing it.
UBI comes in. But like at some point, you can't just fire everyone, because then no one will have any spending power.
Well, I think people will be more of a creator economy than ever. Like I think you're going to want to buy muffins from the lady in your local, the grandma in your local market more than you're going to want to buy muffins from massive AI corp.
But I don't think
So
everyone's capable of being a self entrepreneur. Like not everyone has that skill. Like even myself, like I've got the entrepreneur side down, but being a creator, I'm not creative. So that's where I find my difficulties. Like I was looking at the view count when I sent the link. I'm like, well, good thing if this episode turns out like shit, no one actually watches this. There's like 20 views at the most. Which thank you if you've made it this far viewing. I don't know why you stuck around, but I very much appreciate you.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting will be future. Interesting future. So it looks like it's pulling the videos. Oh,
Trying to.
freaking the fuck out. Yeah, I don't know how it's all gonna play. That's why I'm just trying to speed run like a quick. I need like 100 mil, and then then I can go fucking play video games all day and shoot guns
Yeah.
and have a property for it. Yeah, I'm gonna clear these because my workstation is what I would consider messy now. I want to see. Okay. Let me. So for the arcade, these games are cool, but we need them all weed themed. Very kind of like a Snoop Dogg mixed with some, Mac Miller type style aesthetic, retro, very digital, very analog, very old school, but definitely all weed culture themed. So go ahead and remake those and add assets where you can and generate a few images for this. So it's not really good at image gen yet. I want to see. We're like so close to it being really good at image gen. All I have to do is like query Nano Banana, but I don't think they'll do that anytime soon. They'll probably just want to build their own image gen.
Yeah, I remember playing around on the very early. What was the one that ChatGPT had? Something llama.
Llama was like it's like a different. But maybe they had a llama one. Yeah.
I don't remember, but it was bad.
Oh yeah, I was using it when I had my first office. It had to be like 21. Yeah, it was 2021. We were trying to do image gen because it was the first time it came out, and we were trying to like guide because we were paying an artist to do a bunch of art. We ended up paying like 20 grand for all this art, and now I'm like looking back at it, like the art's not even that good, and I could just image gen it way better, way faster, and it takes a long time if somebody's doing these big wallpaper, computer desktop wallpaper art, and they need to make 30 of them hand drawn. Like it took like a year basically.
Damn.
Shit ton of money. So I love image gen. So we'll see what games it comes up with. It'd be kind of, I don't know how the culture feels about it, but like a smoking game instead of drinking games.
I mean, honestly, I don't have enough of a following yet to really say what my demographic is, but it's all just people interested in weed. So
yeah, now see it's making all the assets here. It made a leaf, nug, joint, bong grinder.
nice.
It'd be interesting to see how what it came up with.
Right.
Let me go back, check on the other ones. This one's 15 minutes in, almost halfway through.
Nice.
And this is why I like the Claude integration. It's you're already paying $200 a month, whatever, but this would have already costed like 20 bucks or so with Replit. So
Do you think for a business that is justifiable? Like if you were a cannabis processing lab or a cultivation, maybe even retailer, is it justifiable to pay that $200 a month versus a $20 a month subscription versus the free?
if you know what you're doing and you're willing to be at the front of all of this stuff, because this is just like, this is still super early. Like it can't go 100% yet, but like if you've got this big code base, I think every company, the founder, usually they just own one company anyways. So they should be building out a website entirely in this, and it should be the user facing website as well. And then they have like a big admin suite. It powers the admin side of things because now you have an entire custom management program for your own brand. And at any point, if you want to add stuff like instead of paying Klaviyo $1,000 a month for an email, if you've got, that's only if you have like 80,000 emails, you're still paying like $1,000 a month. But if you build it out in this, now you have like all these more capabilities, saving $1,000 a month, and you have your own custom integrations for everything. And you get have full like analytics, you get to see all your numbers. And that's a big thing for like founders. Founders should know, they should have their KPIs of the health metrics of their business, and they should have a place that they go to and just see it in 1 second. And it's updated and it knows, it grabs all their numbers from everywhere. So like in order to run a good operation, you really need that locked in. So every brand could use this. And even if it's just the forward facing site's pretty lame and dull or whatever, the back end could be like magnificent for their
Okay.
business. So to me,
What
it makes
about,
sense.
because like sadly in the cannabis industry, you almost have like 50% of the businesses, the founders are very close and almost like operational leaders as well. Like I look back at the companies that I worked for, and a couple of them, the founders were the investors themselves, and they like actually spent 40, 60 hours a week in the lab with us. And then other labs, they were founders that just took the investor aspect and was like, I know nothing about this. I'm going to hire people who do or who think they do. And they played a very, very hands off role. For the manager, maybe, uh, or like middle level, maybe is like that $20 a month advantageous for them to have. Like, because I know that I used it a lot as just an employee. And granted, it was something I had pitched for the company to reimburse or to pay for, but like just doing data analysis in Excel documents, or I know that Michigan, the state puts out monthly reports on different sales numbers and yields, harvest data, different numbers that they pull from the track and trace system. And I was able to kind of collect a repository of just a bunch of different uh, CSV files from them. And then it's like, hey, take this and run. Like, um, what are your thoughts on kind of that middle management type and how to use it as that person?
I don't know what their day to day looks like, but I know there's, like I said, some metrics they have to stick by. There's without a doubt something that they could build out. And again, it's got to be the right person for this all to work. Like if you're a non-technical person and that's just not the way you are, like probably don't do this.
Sure.
Like you pretty much have to be the technical founder for this to get its value. But it's insane the amount of value and how you're positioning yourself for the future if you know get good at this kind of stuff. Uh, but I think every founder should be building out their systems in this because it's truly it's a playground. It's like creative mode, and it's just something that like before this would have cost at least $5,000 to get to as far as we got with this app so far. Like,
Yeah.
so to get it cranked out and just us playing around an afternoon, like,
Yeah. And it was free.
yeah. And then you could also do like Appify, like I said, and then query that state data and then compare your numbers to that state data. And that'd just be an interesting tool to add to yourself. And it cost like $1 a month to be able to have that now huge comparison thing if that's, what drives your business.
Well, and that's a lot cheaper than there's like 2 or 3 companies that I know that provide analytics like that. And I don't know how much they're charging, but I think it's a couple hundred a month probably.
Yeah, that's where I see a lot of this stuff going at first is operations and analytics and stuff because that's the easy win right now. But in the future, you'll be able to tie your brand into anything. It's just going to be like this massive creative suite for you that's going to have so much more power in 2 years.
Okay.
And then there's so much value to an AI trained on all of your data. Like if it knows every transcript from every podcast that you've uploaded and it knows, it can really help with creative ideas too. Like if you're in a slump or like I was sick all last week and I was like, my brain's not working, just do this for me. And it was like cranking out work for me and my brain was
Nice.
mush. I couldn't do anything. I was miserable.
Well, that's the one thing I found because I was using ChatGPT and Claude for LinkedIn posts and like social media copy. And you can kind of learn real quick what is AI written and what is not. And LinkedIn takes a very negative approach to that, and you'll get called out real quick. for having an AI written post, or like you almost get a negative sentiment for it. So what I did was I took like a bunch of essays that I wrote for different classes before AI was a thing, and almost trained it on my writing style. And it still doesn't get it perfect. Like I'll get maybe 90% of the way there and then edit the rest, or it gives me at least a concept to take and run with. But I found that I'm not really able to directly just say like, "Hey, here's my idea," and then copy and paste from the first kind of message that they send back. I always have to prompt it a few
Of
times
course, yeah.
or edit a little bit.
It'll be like that for a while, which is good and bad thing. Like, I mean, you want a lot of people to be scared off from this because, like, if you spend 2 months focusing on something and you spend maybe like $500, um, you can have something way worth more than $500 at the end of that. So,
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, I we've used AI for just so many different things the past couple of years.
see if it fixed the. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this and see why it's not getting the videos. Update video with the real ID, or delete the placeholders and add fresh ones. Add. Would you like to help? Let me see if I can send the playlist. Does that X work? Okay. Having it build out Kush Sweeper.
Nice. So it's like mining for different weed things.
Yeah, you remember Minesweeper?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was like one of the few games I liked on the pre-installed. Obviously, Pinball was one, Minesweeper, Solitaire.
Basically just saying I can't read anything, it's way too fucking small. Mode chill, lifted, or blazed. Alright, when you lose, hits are calculated based on how far you got. So if you got less than 25% progress, you have to take base hits plus 3. So you're gonna have to take these if I lose.
All right, that's cool. I'll load the Puffco up.
We maybe
Was
should
already,
do like a test run, make sure it actually works. It doesn't just scam you right off the bat, but
I was planning on an afternoon nap anyways. Sunday, I gotta, dude, I slept like all day yesterday. It was like 18 hours of sleep. It felt so good.
that's good. Those days are nice.
Yeah, it was like negative 40 out. So I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing shit.
All right, it's a little bit bigger now. So there's 6 seeds. I guess we don't click the seeds. Let me start clicking away. All right, so 1, 1,
Definitely
1,
there.
2
Yeah,
1s
that's
there.
one.
This shouldn't be 1. Fuck.
I was gonna say that's probably one because you got a 2 there and a 2 above it.
All right, this one gotta be easy. 1 definitely there.
Yeah.
1 definitely there. So that means that one's not 1. 3.
Okay. Boom. You got the 1 in the corner, so I bet that 3, the bottom right, isn't 1. And
Yep,
it's in
those
the
2.
corner.
And that's 1.
You got a seed in the very top right. That's a seed. Because if it was any of the other ones, that 2, well, that is a 2, not a 1.
So this one, I think, isn't
Yeah.
1. 3. So all
Yeah,
those
that's what I was
are
saying. That top corner was 1.
2. So this one. Fuck.
It worked.
Yeah. You hit a seed. So yeah, this is kind of like my best way of like learning this stuff at first. Is just create like a personal website, little
Something
games
fun.
like this. Let's see if let's have it build out a snake game.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Build out Munchie. Then we'll go back, we'll check on these ones. This one wants to fetch, and yes, don't. So trying to do no embed. So it it should actually get it with that. And then this one, it looks like it made our admin panel. So I
Nice.
go /admin. There's like your
Okay.
admin controls.
That's pretty cool.
And then like this is where like I go in and I like make it look cool. So like if I'll go to, so yeah, this is what my admin panel looks like for my brand.
Okay.
And then in here it's just Google OAuth. So I set it up so it's like, hey, only allow this email, which is my work
Yep.
email, and then allow me to add admins in. But then I just use Google OAuth, so I just sign in with Gmail. It's like the most
Nice.
secure way of doing things. It's really hard to finesse this login style instead of like the traditional username and password style. I typically go with these if you
Yeah,
want
that's all I use. It's easy.
super secure. Yeah, yeah. My whole like business is Gmail and G Suite stacked anyway.
That's what I like about I use Squarespace for my personal brand, and I need to. It's just been on my shit list of things to do is swap over like I have Alex at Higher State Brands, but no website was ever built off on that, and I pay like $15 a month for that, and it's the same if I have it on my personal brand. So I'll have like Alex at alexeckman.com. Instead of the Higher State Brands. So it's like if I'm already paying for the Google Workspace for one account, why not just have it on my one that I have an actual website tied to? Squarespace being owned by Google makes everything pretty easy. But that's the thing though, is like it took me maybe 7 or 8 hours worth of work to get the website to where it is now. And it honestly looks like shit and needs a lot of improvement. And we've been doing this for about an hour on the dot now. And we've already got so much more built out and like games on it. And like the power of AI coding just speeds up things
Yeah,
exponentially.
yeah. And then if you want to, we can go to like Midjourney, and then this is how I would make like a background like wallpaper for it. So I don't know. Do you have any desktop wallpaper design or inspired? Um, what was that artist? I always just, I the entire art community is gonna be
But
pissed.
do Alex Gray. It's all psychedelic art.
Uh, hand drawn retro design. So I'll just do stuff like this, but this is like some of the stuff I was messing around with. So like getting like I wanted like videos. I was playing around with that. Dude, you can get like crazy cool images. These are more like the HD ones. As you can see here, I have quite a few prompts through them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I ended up using this one for like part of the site.
Oh, that's dope. The animations are cool. That's what I need to add to my site.
Yeah,
But
so this is what
I
the
keep running.
you can like do really better design with like this was all Replit made. So
Well, like
uh,
go to alexeckman.com and pull up my site, and like it's so boring and basic. I don't know how to make it cool and creative. Mainly, like if you go to education, like the experience tab in education needs so much work. There's little drop downs with so much text in it. But this is just using Squarespace, their basic editor.
yeah, I mean all of this you can build out. Like I said, to that admin panel of your own personal tools is so valuable. You could have Appify scraping all the job listings in your area for cannabis stuff and then personally reaching out. And then it could also be like trained on your writing style, and it could also analyze their company and be like, I like your company because XYZ, even though it
Nice.
sends out a million of these every day, you
Well, and
know?
like media, that's really the spot that I update a lot because I update the podcasts and like if I'm spotlighted in a press thing. But even that, it's like just I use a blog for it, and those are different blog posts. So it's like even super simple.
Yeah, this is what it was able to do after a little bit of work. So I think the
That's
UI
sick.
came together pretty well, but I'm using Midjourney
Yep.
to make these like background images. But if you go here, this is kind of where I had my arcade or my
That's
snake game.
cool.
Go and get the logo.
Nice.
Then you can do like cool like about you stuff. So that's where that image
Yep.
was used.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean,
That's cool. Damn, that's dope.
yeah, I'm just gonna throw this one in for now.
Yeah.
I mean, typically I'll run this like 30 or 40 times. We actually maybe need to change the
How much is Midjourney, or is this a free plan?
$20,
Okay.
I think is what I pay. So we need to queue this up to make it a little bit bigger for our background. But yeah, I mean, fuck, compared to paying an artist.
Right. Yeah. That's really cool. And you could be a brand and just like upload your logo and say, hey, make different stuff with it. Maybe take photos of your bud or your different products.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. At that point, I'd use Nano Banana probably if you're doing product photos. It does it way better than this. This is very much just a
okay,
creative artist that just,
maybe
throws
for
stuff out there. But
product packaging, like if you're designing the label on a package.
that would be Nano Banana for sure. This does like no text well. Like if you want any text on your image at all, this cannot do it. It still is like
Gotcha.
outdated image gen for whatever reason, but it's really good at like the creative shenanigans
Okay.
side of things. I mean, that one's pretty cool too.
Yeah. I feel like you could even sell these as like desktop wallpapers. I feel like
Dude, you
people have
could.
businesses
Yeah.
like that. Like it would not be hard. 'Cause I was trying to think like how could you monetize just these photos alone? And like obviously beyond just prints and stuff like that.
We'll see if we get it. If not, I'm just going to pick one and just go with it. This is typically how I do it too. Like sometimes I'll just go in here for 2 minutes and then throw whatever at it at first, and then I can go back and change it. Go with probably this one.
Yeah, I like that one.
And then we're back in here. There is a way to upload these by shell, but I kind of just like using the agent, even though it costs money. So what I'll do is it just makes it so much easier. Just go in here, give it this, and then I'll put on the lightning mode. I'll say make this the desktop wallpaper, but allow us to change the wallpaper. Try if you just change it can. The start menu. So yeah, this is when you start going in, you add, your personal touches to it, which is that art. And if you really, and that's what really brings it all together and makes it stop looking like an AI thing is if you go and you make all these app icons. So let me go to this one. Okay, I broke it all, but this is kind of like my version of all this. So you get the start menu. This is for people to learn like coding and circuits. And you can have a
Okay.
full on, I have a music player. It's got all songs that I generated. So I made my own album for it.
Nice.
It's all like themed, but and here is an entire electronic simulator. So you can build out the
That's cool.
circuits. So it really like you shouldn't really be limited by much. If you can go in and create an entire electronics simulator that you write all the code and it simulates the full circuits and stuff like that. And even here I can click generate and I can say 2 LEDs that blink every 30 seconds. Generate circuit. It doesn't like wire things up yet. I'm still like trying to fix the wiring, but it gets really close. So like at this point, it doesn't wire it, but it's got all the components and it writes all the code perfectly. So it just needs to wire it up right and it's working. So
That's cool.
you can go really far with these apps. Like, oh, there we go.
Hey, it worked.
So this is what it would look like. And then let's see if I
That
can
was
go.
one of the first things like shit. That's cool.
Yeah, but why do we only have one video?
It might have been because like that was my problem when I tried to share the playlist is it was only trying to link to the latest video and not
Yeah.
sharing the whole playlist. But I
So
think
what you would
yeah,
likely have to do is in the admin panel that we'd build out, in there you would have a plugin for the website, and you would probably just log in directly to your YouTube channel through
actually,
that link, and you would link the backend. So every time a new video would come up, you would have it displayed and,
I
pushed on the
think
website.
I just got you the correct link because I remember on mobile on my phone, I was able to share the podcast link playlist. And I think this is, yeah, because when I click on this, now it opens up the Higher Thoughts podcast playlist
That's what I
and
gave
shows
it.
all the videos.
It just wants like the unique IDs for all of them. But
Yeah,
I don't think if you uploaded a new video, it would automatically pull it. But I do
gotcha.
know if in the admin panel, we built out an app inside the admin panel that you would sign in with your channel, that then it would link. And then you would
Okay,
also have all of your channel analytics inside your
that
admin
makes
panel.
sense.
Um,
Yep.
but then you could have it too, where like there's a notification that pops up on everyone's thing that says, "Hey,
Okay,
check out these new videos." Um, but yeah, I mean, that's still super cool,
that's
and
cool.
especially
Yeah.
if we can get all the videos in there, and it seems
That
to
was,
work. I like the retro theme to it.
yep.
What do these do? It made it like a song app, I guess.
Mm.
Put songs in there. My computer doesn't work. Games. Apparently can't X out of the games. Oh, it says the admin user was created. It seeded the admin, so you'll have to maybe edit that out. That link
Okay.
you just showed. But I'm gonna send that link to you over the chat.
I'm going to mark this. There we go. Marked it so it can come back easy.
Yep. Yeah, we can't really share that URL.
Okay.
It's not the end of the world if it gets out. We can't get like hacked or anything like that,
Is it also in this code to the left?
which is fine because we can go in there and change it after the fact, or once I get the app into your account, you can go and I can show you how to set up. You can use the free Claude plan too, so you can pretty much get this rolling and moving for free. Like I
Okay.
don't think you have to even pay Replit. I'm not
Nice.
sure. Maybe at worst case you just pay the base plan on Replit and you use the free Claude. Um, but it did just leak. But as long as we change that, no one can do anything bad. And then I'm gonna go ahead and clear this chat in a second so people don't see it once it's done.
Yeah. And then I'll just mark it again where the edit stops.
Fucking nose is killing me.
Quit doing the coke.
Everyone's gonna think I would do coke, dude.
Oh, dude, it happens all the time. When I'm like scrolling through videos, editing, I'm like, holy shit, I gotta stop rubbing my nose.
Just my allergies hit me. I had the window open. Fucking itches so bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna. Can you access that link and it shows the site?
What link?
Oh, I sent it in the chat in here in the
Oh.
Riverside.
I gotta figure out how the fuck to get where's the chat? Oh, there it is.
So that should be the live site for you too. So you can follow along on yours as well by opening that. I'll go to
Yeah,
/
it
admin.
worked.
So here
See
we are in
something?
the admin page, and now if I sign in, it won't let us. Oh, there we go. Check your passwords. So here would be like your admin side. So you'd be able to see all your traffic, your stats. You can make new content here. You see your
Yeah.
memory database. You have your users tab, content. You could upload a bunch of stuff here, growth analytics. But in here, I'm not going to interrupt it. I was going to have it add the other YouTube thing, but let this finish up.
Yeah, I was able to access the link too.
Yep. And then you should go, if you go / admin and then type in that login.
Yep, I got in.
So at some point, change the login method from username and password to the OAuth, and then just have it OAuth for your email.
Okay.
and that's the most secure way. Like really, really well
How
done.
do I do that?
How you do that?
Yeah.
So you would go into we would do new shell Claude. In here, you prompt it like, "Hey, do OAuth." It's gonna make you sign up for Google OAuth services, and
Okay.
you're gonna need an API key from OAuth. I think it's free. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's
I'll look
free.
into it tonight.
Yeah.
I don't have anything going on today.
But yeah, this is like a super basic version of the admin panel.
That's cool
Um,
though.
let me I'm gonna log into mine on the other thing and show you kinda what it looks like more built out. I think mine broke.
Shit happens.
Yeah, mine are getting like scary big code bases at this point. Like I have more than like 6,000 code commits to mine.
Damn.
So like at that point, you're working with a disgusting amount of code, especially having to go full electronic simulator and whole EDU side of things.
It'd be cool to do a hydrocarbon extraction rig simulator so that for training, you can use it as a mock simulator and then be like, okay, do it. And if they fuck up, like say a pressure gets too high, it blows the pressure relief valve, or if that's broken and stuck, which I've seen labs have really fucked up pressure relief valves, it blows the cylinder up because they didn't maintain it beforehand or something like that.
So let's see, did it? It didn't fix. Can't fucking close out of games. Fix games UI. I can't close the menu or the app. Yeah, it really starts to look good once you kind of get these custom assets in everywhere. Like if you make your own images for these games on Midjourney or whatever image gen, honestly, any of them, like you can. Is Nano Banana free? Is that like a free to use one?
Think so, yeah. Or honestly, I logged in with my Gemini that's in that paid workspace that I have. So I think it was free with that, but that's only like $15 a month.
I mean, yeah. Even OpenAI is not too bad at image gen, to be honest. OpenAI is actually getting pretty good at it.
Yeah, I used ChatGPT to make some vector images for that research paper I was working on, and it took a vape and basically made a digital version of it. That way we could be kind of brand agnostic.
hmm So this is what my admin starts to look like as it's, you're getting built out. So I've got my full like team in here. I can click this and see like a roster of all my team members. And it's also helpful for them if they have to reach out to us. One thing I've been building out is like this whole education side of things. So we work with a lot of schools. So getting like a whole school system built out in here would be like super sick where I could click add
Yeah,
school and then I can track them and I can see all their students' progression and really, like, it's important for me because, like, we do courses, we teach coding. Like, we want to see how far students get. We want to see where they fall off. We want to see the problems we're having so we can improve our education. So this allows us to get that, massive feedback loop. And then we also have like custom built AIs in here and advisor. And all those are like specialized, trained on certain things. So like some are trained on how do you go for school grants. Like we never really got into the school system. We ran Facebook ads and a lot of schools bought from us because the teachers would see it. But it wasn't like an
right.
official like what a lot of companies do to go out in the school system, like the scholastic style approach. So we're trying to tap into that. So that would help. Integrations would be cool too. So I can like put my Shopify store, link my Shopify store so all my users can see all their orders and their shipping history. And we can even give them benefits based off of if they ordered more or whatever. I put all my files in here. So like every file, the goal is like I have spent probably like $150,000 on freaking ads at this point, just for like one product, just to get a bunch of videos created and, UGC style stuff. So I want to put all those in files and then have an AI thing that I can just be like, hey, make another video. And it goes and it scans all of those, finds the right clips, put them together, gives me a video that I can just like generate. Another one is super important for my business is the funnels one. So I can go and instantly generate new funnels, sales funnels, because that was a big thing too that moves the needle. If you're funnel converts twice as good, your ads are way cheaper then, and you scale so much more. You make twice as much money if you double your funnel. So vibe building funnels is a big feature I'm trying to build out. Let's see. Let me refresh it. Snake needs a little work. Kind of getting there. It's very laggy. You could put solitaire on the site, and then Papa could always use it for solitaire.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm into blackjack, so I could do that.
Yep. I built out a version of that for my site too. All right, so if I go back to the admin, is it still cranking on the admin stuff?
Oh, I changed the password in the admin, by the way.
Well, I'm still in.
I'll be 100% honest. I'm really high. It could either be that or that.
Okay. Well, okay, got it.
I updated the user.
Okay, let me prompt it. Let's create a tool in the admin dashboard that allows us to connect the YouTube channel and be able to pull in updates from new videos. We also want this to be an advisor suite, so maybe have tools in there that make our videos get more views or helps us with ideas or thumbnails. Just think of a whole YouTube creator suite for podcasters and do a product requirements document with all the features they would need, and then allow us to integrate the channel through the back end and make sure all of this is super secure. Another great thing it does is the quizzes. So you can ask it if you kind of have a hard time thinking through a product or what features it should have in that, like this thing right here. So I could also say, interview me, ask me a bunch of questions, and it comes up with really good interview questions. Like, do you need this? Like, are you planning to do that? And
Okay.
it does really help make a like one-shotting, these new features. And then, yeah, you can plug in you would have somewhere in here, probably in settings with like your API keys. And then you would put whatever agents that you'd want. So you'd have like an OpenAI API key or a Anthropic API key. And depending on which one you use, you could have this whole thing set up with whatever AI you need to use. It still is better, in my opinion, to have just like everything in one app and just the app on your desktop, like an OpenAI app or the Cloud app. Those are still superior to having your own integration, but at some point, I think that might swap.
Okay.
And then like every day, at least, like if you're really cranking out, if you're putting in 8-9 hour days, like every single day at that point, you want to go through. And there's this thing called plugins. So I go and then I'll do /plugins. This will be like all the plugins you can do, and this is where you find like Ralph looping. If you want to do Ralph looping, that's like level 10. Like if you get really good at this Ralph loop, and holy shit, you can build some crazy cool stuff if you know what you're doing. But I typically just go in here and I do code simplifier plugin. There's like a security audit, code review. I want that one. Plugin. Front end design's kind of helpful too. It makes a little bit better designs for you. And then I can say use the plugin code review and check our code out. How is it so far? Any bugs? What sucks? What is bad for long term? What fixes won't you do now? So I would send this like every day. Just have that running in one. I tried to make it do Doom at one point. It couldn't do Doom.
Too hard. It'd be cool to do a Farmville knockoff that's cannabis growing.
Yeah, go ahead and make a prompt for that, and I'll send it in if you wanna try it out.
Do you want me to just send it in the Riverside chat? All right. It's making it now.
Yeah, Farmville would be so sick. Clean up the arc.
Cut some off. Might not let me send the full message.
Was there more stuff that was like really important?
I don't know where it cut off. Let me find it.
I feel like it's got a good amount of the scope in it. I might just send it.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess the last thing it just said, taking up most of the screen, a coin counter at the top and a bottom toolbar for the shop and inventory.
It's come up with a plan for it.
Sweet.
And then I'm having it remove all the games it didn't build. Just decluttering.
Nice.
And our wallpaper never got uploaded. So I'm gonna check on the agent, see what it said. I've set the yeah. So if you go Git, this is where you would have your GitHub controls. I would always suggest everyone links it to Git, and then that way it allows your code to be super safe and secure, and version control is way better. It kind of uses its own version of it, but would definitely have it on Git. And that way, at any point, if Replit goes down, you can load up in any of these code editors and take your project over in those ones. Might be a few issues with storage and whatnot. You might have to recreate databases, but that's about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it gets tough when you have like 8 of these. You have to kind of always jump
I
between them.
bet. What's left to kind of wrap this site up?
Not much. I mean, we got to get the URL in there, like an actual domain and deployment. We'll have to do that from your account once I send it over.
Okay.
That's really all I can think of. And it could
Nice.
be front facing and live. And then you would just go through and clean up anything that doesn't have features or stuff that's super buggy.
Okay.
It made
That's
that
cool.
as one of the backgrounds.
Nice.
But yeah, anyone can go in there and just go to display. And I don't know where our photo went. It's one of those things that, you just spend months just keep playing around with.
Yeah. I'm curious to look at the analytics of this video after like a month and see how many people watched to 2.5 hours.
I did my first video was a 50-minute long video, and it got a good like if people watch through a lot of it, it really grows
Nice.
well over long term. Yeah, so it wants you to do like a YouTube client ID and YouTube secret from Google Cloud. So like for the full like back end stuff, you can have dad set off the car alarm.
Nice.
Okay, it's starting to write the game, and it's doing the proper YouTube. Like some of the stuff's intimidating, like all these API stuff and like having get your secrets from YouTube, and like there's some intimidating stuff to it, but it's really the right way to do it, and it gives you like,
Okay.
really good long term functionality. Let's go and fixing the code. Where the heck? I mean, you can always clip this video too. You can always chop it into reels, basically. I
Oh yeah,
think
that's
it's
something
like
about Riverside is Riverside will generate like 30 clips from it that are under a minute, and then usually like 10 that are 3 to 5 minutes. And it also does like social media copy, does titles, it'll do chapters. I'm trying to think keywords. Riverside makes it really nice. It's one that when I finally am done burning through all my free trials, I'm definitely gonna have to look at paying the $25 a month for. It just makes it, and then even in the editing, it's pretty good and easy to use.
yeah. Sometimes you have to argue with it. Like I've been trying to get this wallpaper for so long, and it seems
Mm,
like something so easy, and it's just like I did it, I fixed it, I fixed it. Nope,
they didn't.
it's blank. I think once we get the game stops, once these clouds stop running, then we'll migrate it to
All right.
to you.
Yeah, and wrap this one up. We can always do more episodes and play around with different apps later because I do really want to make a couple like
There we go.
tools that I can throw up on my website that people could use, whether it's as simple as like Excel templates or small little like interactive things like the SOP app or different stuff like that. I think it'd provide value and helps me kind of learn along the way and helps the community out. Could always make this into like a series, like vibe coding cannabis series.
There's a lot of people that just like live stream themselves just vibe coding all day. Dude,
Yeah.
and they make so much money. Like these people are making like 30, 50K a month.
That's
It's
the other
crazy.
Riverside's got the capability to do like 1080p live stream in the plan that I'm on. And then like $50 a month is 4K live stream to multiple outputs. I made it easier to see.
I want it to be like all one though. Like, why is it separating? I'm gonna see what it does if I say like recommend brands, items to buy.
That was the one thing I was thinking about doing is making Amazon what's it called? Like list of just like lab tools, essential grow tools, and like products that I would actually buy if I was managing or building out an extraction lab, and
Mm,
then do like the referral links. Even though you don't get a lot of money from it, but it's still something.
gosh, it's a nightmare. I have 9 open now.
Nice.
This needs to keep going. See, just like a few custom images and it's already come together. Like if you custom image these app icons and then kind of think them through more to like what ones do you want? What do you want them named? Like kind of theme them, make them look towards your stuff. Make a shopkeeper app right here and intern Weed Corp to do goofy intern activities on nonsense. Help grow capitalism. Your boss super rich. Intern simulator.
Cool. Oh, it crashed.
Yeah, I usually it was asking me there if it wants to like restart the server because it has to restart a lot to like get its code to
Mm,
be live. Typically, it's a really bad idea. I think it doesn't know how Replit works, so it like crashes it, and it doesn't know how to just click turn back on.
gotcha.
So you just hit the power button and it turns back on. Maybe. What the frick? I don't know what just happened.
Mm,
I'm so lost in the sauce right now. What the frick? I gotta start closing all these. That one's working. That one's not working.
you can always build out stuff like the Farmville app or Intel or intern stuff later on. Make it a part 2 follow-up video. So I was thinking about doing some videos that were like how I would use AI as a processing lab manager, and then show different like templates I would create in Excel, and then to make it more advanced, take the Excel dashboards or templates and create mini apps out of those. And so that was a way that I could do like a simple version and an advanced version. Gives me a couple different ways to almost repurpose that content or keep it going, and then showcase different skills along the way.
Yeah, hopefully this gives you a good idea of how quick you can get something up and running. Like what we spent
Definitely.
2 hours on this,
Yep.
and it's already something that could essentially go live. Not really create a lot of value for people, but it's just a cool platform. So this
Well, yeah,
is getting
just shows
rebuilt.
a fun little app like this, but it just shows like how far you can go with it.
There's 6 agents going at one time. One's doing the API for
Nice.
YouTube. One's making the game. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it would easily be $50, $60 into the Replit plan. So that's why I do
Yeah.
the Claude shenanigans. So much better. I don't know how long it's gonna take for these to finish, but once they do, what I can do is there's like a way to transfer it to you.
Okay. Yeah, and you can always just shoot me a text and I can jump on a FaceTime or something. We can wrap it up and I'll screen record the FaceTime, just edit it in here or something.
I mean, I got nothing going on today. I don't mind chilling. Letting this cook for 30 minutes probably isn't good content for people.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't know how compelling this is. So I got a little Discord meeting at 7 with a cannabis mastermind group that we do every Sunday. But outside of that, I was just gonna food prep a little bit and just kind of make it a chill Sunday. So what's it look like right now?
So
Or what is
sometimes
the
I had to
question?
go back to the agent to fix the bugs because it's just really struggling to It just doesn't know how the server works because you have like the server that hosts it, the dev server and whatnot, and it's kind of ignorant. So I have to use the agent sometimes to go back and fix it. So I'm having it turn it back on. So now we're down to 2 agents working.
Nice. Can this make apps that are like available in the Apple iPhone like App Store, or is that
Yeah, typically you can put the same coding agent into Xcode and you'd build out in Xcode, which is their dev platform for iPhone apps by
okay?
Apple. So you would just have it running out in there. It would just make the world easier. But I think you can maybe probably do it from here. I wouldn't. You kind of have to be
Just easier to
technical to do
build web.
apps. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is almost done, and then can migrate it. And then yeah, you can also if you have like all your research and stuff like that, you could even set up in my computer here, like a way to navigate and go through all the your research and the stuff you've worked on and
Mm,
like have this
that's
breakdown
cool.
into entire, what you've done or even like items that you would suggest with like affiliate links or
That's cool.
that's a music app. If you want to make music, throw it up. I don't know. Games we have intern simulator and the garden. So plant, select a seed from the shop, open shop. We're gonna put some northern lights in,
Nice.
and then it's cooking. So 45 seconds it takes to grow. So you can see the bar at the
Mm,
top.
that's cool.
Can I just plant all these? Oh no, not enough coins. If you did like custom assets for these too, and then oh my god, it's got a bug. Pest removed.
Mm,
What is this plant? Uh, Why
that
is
was
it?
the other idea I had for an app that I actually did develop out a little bit with Lovable, I think. And it was you could basically design your facility almost mimicking like a basic CAD design. So you could get facility layout. And then you would define like where your grow beds are, where your lights are, your different rooms, and you could track pests using like the normal sticky traps,
Mhm.
and it would take a photo of the sticky trap, use optical character recognition to like actually identify the bug, kind of like how a Google image search, you can search for like flowers and different bugs by taking photos of them. So it would leverage that to tell you what type of pest you had. It would count how many of the pest you had. And so you could also tie those sticky traps to a location in your like virtual facility. And it would track like a heat map of your pest infestation, show you different like where it possibly came in, the migration vectors, and uh, made a lot of really cool info on the back end, or like different utilizable stuff for the growers, and played around with that for a little bit.
This is sick. I'm level 3.
Nice.
I can expand the farm. It's crazy that it one-shotted this many features in it, like, the whole, like,
Yeah,
timing to grow on it.
store.
It's like it's got water, fertilizer. So
That's cool.
if I add fertilizer first, no plants to fertilize. Give them all water, fertilizer,
That's cool.
increases the yield, I'm guessing. Alright, so it's all done with everything, so I can send this over.
Nice.
So I'm probably gonna stop sharing there. Oops. How do I select it? Hmm. I don't know how to transfer this.
Mm, well, we
What's
can
your
always wrap it
email?
up here. And oh,
Yeah.
I'll type it in the studio chat.
I mean, we'll probably have to wrap it up here because this stuff probably shouldn't be
Yeah,
seen.
that's all good. Well, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I definitely plan on doing more vibe coding apps and just like different templates and stuff in the future, different ways to use AI beyond just social media copy. So if there's anything in particular that you want to see, drop it down in the comments. Beyond that, just like, comment, subscribe. And thank you so much, Austin, for jumping on this. I
Mhm.
appreciate it. And looking forward to wrapping up this web app and deploying it, man. That's really cool. So thanks again. And anytime you want to jump on, just let me know. We'll make some more apps.
Heck yeah. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate y'all.